Okay, this is the last one for this 5R one here. This is how to graph a quadratic without assistance of a tool like Desmos or graphic calculator. So just 3 little steps here that you're gonna make sure you wanna write down, and you might want to highlight this, eventually color code it. Axis of symmetry formula right here. Okay, when you get to the y-intercept, you know what C is. We talked about what ABCs are. Plugging back into for the y coordinate, you got to make sure what the process is. I'll give you a good example at the bottom. We'll see it right now. A vertex is always the coordinate. It's either a minimum or maximum. And then when they talk about x-intercepts and roots or zeros, they're all the same thing. There's a specific way where you make y equal to 0 and then factor. Use a zero product rule. That's underlined factor because that's a big deal. And then the zero product rule, the last step on how to solve for the two x's. And then some quadratics are not factorable. In these cases, the quadratic formula, which might as well just put it here so always know it and always have it. X equals negative b plus or minus b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Okay, and then here's a solid example when I'm talking about how to do all these 3 things. We just kind of went over notes, but this is how you really do it. You have a quadratic here. That's all you had. This was all blank. So then, first step, y-intercept C, negative 3. Y-intercept right here, negative 3. And then the axis of symmetry formula, x equals negative b over 2a. You're going to use that a lot, so please kind of memorize it a bit. And then ABCs of your quadratic, you plug in the b, you plug in the a. This, negative 1. That's your x value for your coordinate of your vertex. Negative 1 shows up here. You plug that into your formula for your y coordinate. Negative 1 goes there. Simplify, negative 4. Now those 2 numbers and all this process for number 2 is to give you this vertex right here. Negative 1 here, negative 4 from that. It always gives you your vertex. The process is always like that. Those 2 things gives you this. Then you have your y-intercept, your vertex. Now you want to find these 2 x-intercepts or zeros, and that's step 3. What this is saying, this is doing right here. So you make it equal to 0. Here you know a equals 1, so you're going to use cross method of factor. You found those 2 numbers. That's exactly what happens in the parentheses here. Those 2 numbers are here, right here and right here. Positive 3 and negative 1 over there. So then you make them separately equal to 0. Zero product rule, that's exactly what that is. You solve for x. Those 2 numbers appear this and that as your zeros and your x-intercepts or your roots, whatever you want to call them. And then of course I set you up here for the rest of it, but you got to do exactly what we did over there. You can see that one, and then this is a special case one. Well, let's look at this one. You can get your y-intercepts right away. Set you up right away for your negative b over 2a, your x coordinate. And this is a nice one here because your b is missing. So b is going to be equal to 0 for that one. See if you can figure it out, and I'll put up the answer keys very soon. Thank you.